welcome to the Week 9 edition of High School Lowdown. For Ernest Boker and Jeff Bird, I'm Steve Wilson. Porter's Chapel heads to Heidelberg Academy, and the stakes for the Eagles just couldn't be any higher.
That's correct. They really need this one to lock up a playoff berth and need to keep winning this one in Prentice Christian in a couple of weeks to keep moving up that ladder. One more loss and they're in big trouble. Another win and they're in good shape. So this is really a pivotal game for them.
Well, the good news for PCA fans is Peter Harris is coming back this week. He played limited against Silva Bay after hurting his neck on what was a pretty obvious horse collar tackle, and the flag never came out.
Well, he is such a game changer for them. Obviously, the numbers speak for themselves. And now he's getting into the kick return game. He's got a couple of touchdowns on that side of the ball the last couple of weeks. So anytime you lose him, especially after having already been missing quarterback Jonah Masterson for several weeks, you really can't afford to keep losing those skill players and those guys that can really make a difference.
Well, talking to Jonah, he told me that the doctor wants him to be able to cut and run full speed on his injured knee without any pain, and he'll be back when he's back. And talking to Wade Patrick, he doesn't want to rush him back.
Right, Zach Morgan, he's done the best he can, being thrown into the fire like he did, but you got a guy who's a 3-year starter. That's hard to replace on that level.
Well, I talked to Josh Masterson and Sam Kirk about the importance of Friday's game and what it means to the Eagles' postseason hopes. I'm here with Porter's Chapel offensive lineman and linebacker Josh Masterson. Josh, you guys have a huge game coming up against Heidelberg. Obviously, in terms of playoff seeding, this game's huge for you. What's the feeling in the clubhouse?
We're really excited to come out and practice hard all week, putting in some new defensive stuff to try and counteract their athletic ability, throw in some blitzes, and take advantage of their offensive line.
Well, this Heidelberg team, Coach Wade Patrick was telling me that they've got 7 new guys, and pretty much y'all have had to chuck out the film, and you're kind of flying blind with it. What does that do to your preparation for an important game like this?
They did. Well, they before they were really big, but not very athletic. But these 7 guys are all very athletic, very fast. I think all of them play skill positions, and new quarterback, wide receivers, and 2 new running backs. And they're really good at what they do, and I think we just got to step it up to try and stop them.
I'm Steve Wilson, and with me is Sam Kirk. Sam, you guys have a huge game against Heidelberg. What does this mean to y'all's postseason future?
If we don't win this, then we're not going to go to the playoffs.
That's about as simple as cut as dried as it gets. Well, you guys, going forward, if you get a win here, you're obviously sitting pretty. You got a tiebreaker on another team. How important is it to you guys to host a home playoff game?
Home field advantage is huge with us. Our fans always get involved. It's really just the push we need.
Vicksburg makes the short trip to Madison Central.
Now this week they take on the powerful Madison Central Jaguars, and like I said, it's going to be another tough team for a very young ball club in Vicksburg.
I think the biggest matchup, obviously, is going to be Vicksburg's struggling defense against a triple option attack of the Jaguars that can also shift over, go 4 wides, and fling the ball around.
Yes, I noticed on their stats this week that the quarterback, Jake Schwartz, has thrown nearly 1,400 yards. And that gives them a different dimension that they had from last year, where they were pretty much just a based option team. This year they can throw the ball.
Warren Central makes the short trip to Murrah, and they're going to have to deal with a big-time playmaker for the Mustangs.
Oh dear, and oh dear indeed. Malik Deer has, I believe it's about 1,200 total yards rushing and receiving this year. Had almost 1,400 last year. He's a guy who's already a Division I prospect, and he's only a sophomore. So, but they have a lot more than that. They have some other playmakers on offense, and talking to Coach Josh Morgan for WC, he made the point that it's really not just one guy; it's several that you have to deal with.
Even though nothing runs like a deer. Well, last week was kind of a disappointment for WC. I know we kind of hyped it as the game of the century. What really went wrong against Madison Central?
It was really just a couple of bad plays. They threw a pick 6 right there at the start of the 4th quarter, and they went from down 1 touchdown to down 2 and having to play catch up. And once they got going with that in the fourth quarter, they kept scoring, kept them within reach, but couldn't get that onside kick to get the ball back, and kept giving Madison Central short fields, and it really just kind of got out of hand. It was a lot closer than a 22-point final margin.
St. Aloysius is making the oh-so-long trip down to Stringer, and they're coming off probably, I would say, one of their best victories of the season.
I guess one of the things you would say is how did DeMichael Harris's kickoff return to Peter Harris's? Because he's had 2 big kickoff returns in the same back-to-back weeks that were pivotal.
Well, DeMichael, talking to Coach B.J. Smithhart, he said that every time that he gets the ball on a kickoff return, there's kind of this gasp, like, oh, he's about to do something big, and he's just one block away from breaking it. Mm-hmm. Finally, he breaks through, and he said that everything just kind of flowed from that moment forward.
How did St. Al's line look to you? I saw that, like I said, when I did them against Cathedral, they looked, like they had potential to be a pretty good line within time.
Well, talking to Coach Smithhart after the game, he said that the best thing for them was they were able to establish a rhythm, and that Connor Smith did a great job at quarterback of controlling the game at the line of scrimmage for them. And said their line, they probably played one of their better games. Thanks for tuning in to the Week 9 edition of High School Lowdown. For Jeff Bird and Ernest Boker, I'm Steve Wilson. Be sure to check out all the happenings at VicksburgPost.com. You can go there for scoring updates on Friday nights, or you can follow us on Twitter at Vicks Post Sports, and that's VIX Post Sports. Thanks, and have a great day.